Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Space Monkey Mafia here, and today we're doing malicious compliance. Before I get started, I wanted to show you this picture of a little fish tank that Gage Basil made me. He has had these done for a long time. I just haven't put them up because I want to get them on videos that get more views to get him exposure and all that stuff, but like not in a choosing beggary way. He doesn't have a page or anything to link as much as I wish he would, get one so he could get commissions and whatnot. But because it's really cool. I mean, look at it. I really like it. And on to the malicious compliance. You want me to offer credit card applications to every customer on Black Friday? You got it. Way back in the late 90s, my first job was as a part-time cashier at a department store. As part of the job, we were expected to repeat a script to each customer that went as follows. Would you like to put this on your store card? If the customer says no, then, do you have a store card? Would you like to apply for a store card? If the customer declines, then we were to proceed with the transaction as normal. However, my store manager, SM, wanted us to be more aggressive and go into details with the customer about all the benefits that come with the credit card. I absolutely hated doing this because 1, the credit card was absolute garbage with an impossibly high interest rate. 2, customers don't like to be harassed and would take their frustration on me and all the other cashiers. 3, it took way too much time and led to long lines. Because of this, I only ever asked customers if they wanted to put their purchase on the store card, and if they said no, I left it at that. This particular incident happened after I'd been on the job for about 6 months. It was the Wednesday before Black Friday, and SM called me into his office when I was clocking out after my shift. I'm paraphrasing because it happened so long ago. SM: Hi Sun Kisses, I wanted to talk to you about your credit apps. You have very low numbers, and I see you've only done 2 this month. Me: Yes sir. Not a lot of customers are interested in the store card, but I do make sure to ask every customer if they want to use their card. I don't really feel comfortable going into the details of the card after they've told me they're not interested in applying. To be honest, they get pretty mad and the lines can get pretty long. SM: I know you've only worked here 6 months, but I expect you to go through the script with every single customer. No exceptions. Every single customer you encounter should be asked to use their store card, and if they don't, should be offered a card. You are expected to go over all talking points with every single customer, every single time. If a customer gets upset, call the manager code in the intercom. Understood? Me: Yes, sir. Now, my next shift was 5 a.m. on Black Friday. I was scheduled to work the electronics department, and there was a huge sale on TVs. TVs could only be run up in the electronics department, and there were only 2 registers there. My close friend was scheduled to work the second register in the department. I think you know where this is going. For a little icing on the cake, our store was expecting visitors from corporate early that morning. SM wanted me to go through the script? You got it! When the store opened at 5, an onslaught of customers came rushing through the doors, grabbing the tickets for the TVs, and then they sprinted to the registers. My colleague and I made sure to go over the script with every customer, in detail. Don't have a store card? Here's the application. Let me go over all the details. Here's the promotional interest rate. This is what the rate is after the promotion is over. You'll have 60 days before your first bill is due. The line of customers was wrapped around the corner and well into the next department, and they were absolutely livid. The amount of curse words that were thrown at me was unreal. After my 3rd customer, a man in line loudly demanded to speak to a manager. You want the manager? You got it. I called over the intercom the code for a manager. Guess who showed up with 2 corporate bigwigs in tow? Yes, my store manager. I watched him come around the corner with a smile as he was chatting up one of the corporate guys and saw his eyes widen as he was faced with an angry mob of customers who all started to shout their complaints about how much time we were taking and that nobody cared about their freaking credit cards. His face turned a wonderful red color that creeped up past his collar and spread over his cheeks. His angry eyes locked on me. He angrily strode up to me and slammed his fist down on the counter. SM: What the heck, Sun Kisses? What is taking so long? I put you in this department because you are one of my fastest cashiers. Now, I was only 16 at the time and extremely short at the time, so when he yelled at me, the customer mob went silent. I started to feel fairly embarrassed, so I said quietly, Me: You told me on Wednesday that I had to go over all talking points about store card with every single customer, no exceptions. I was just doing what you told me to do. My eyes started to water a little, mostly from the embarrassment of being called out in front of the whole store. I knew he'd be ticked off, but I thought he'd just tell me to discontinue the credit card selling. At this point, I looked up at the crowd and all of their hostility was no longer directed at me, but at SM. Customers started yelling at him for yelling at me and making me sell credit cards and wasting everyone's time. One of the corporate guys stepped up at this point and told me to just ring everyone up and not to worry about the store cards. He gave me a coupon code to give everyone an additional 10% off the sale price of their purchase and asked to meet the SM in the back. And just like that, all was right with the world. My friend and I made quick work of the line. Customers were happy to get an extra discount and my SM got a talking to from corporate. I don't know what was said, but after my shift, my SM called me on the back with the corporate guy sitting next to him. He apologized for yelling at me and then told me that cashiers were only required to ask if customers wanted to put purchases on their store card and only offer information if the customer requested it. I accepted the apology. My SM was transferred to another location not too long after that, and I found a better paying job soon as well. I mean, what did he expect? Why did he choose that particular time and be like, oh, well, you gotta ask all of them all the time? Like, there are valid reasons to not do that, and I think everyone knows that. I don't know why this guy was just oblivious, but okay. Sure. You want to slack off? Stop making me work as a receptionist. Disclaimer. I don't remember all the details of this exactly. Further disclaimer. As I'm not sure whether this belongs here or in Petty Revenge, I'll be posting it in both places. I typed this up shortly after it happened last month, but am only now posting it. I work for a small company on a one-woman IT support team for around 30 people, 20 with computers. Our main office, where I work, is in the magical city of country music, Bible thumpers, and tourists in cowboy hats. We've seen quite a few colorful individuals pass through this company, many leaving in frustration at the management, and one even leaving in handcuffs, but this story is about a girl from Texas. Miss Texas was hired on about 2 to 3 years ago as HR and was about as entitled as they come. Very pretty, but she seemed to think that everyone was her slave except for 2 people, CEO and ops manager. There had been several incidents with her, such as making an engineer go to the store for her to fetch Christmas decorations, making one of the welders install those stupid headlight eyelashes on her car, etc. Nobody wanted to talk to the ops man about it because we're pretty sure he was having an affair with her, or the CEO, because he hired and vouched for her and he wouldn't just kick the can back down to ops man. She was, for all intents and purposes, unfireable. This particular story begins when Miss Texas and the CEO got it into their heads that incoming calls must be greeted by a human being, not an IRV, during all business hours. Customers don't want to sit through an automated touch-tone system. They'll hang up and call our competitors. So I changed the routing, and the task of answering every single call fell to the office administrator. Admin stormed out 2 weeks later with a middle finger for Miss Texas, never to return. Odd, I thought. We're a systems integrator, not some sort of retail or service business. Our customers are big corporations, not, let me speak to your manager, Karens. It couldn't have been that bad, could it? Now, we no longer had anyone to answer the phones. Miss Texas was too lazy to hire a new receptionist, which of course meant someone already working here had to do it. I bet you can't guess who. Of course you can. I argued the point that I didn't really have time to answer the phones. I was both IT support and net development. Miss Texas argued along the lines of, but you hardly do any work. You just sit there and play games and wait for someone to have an IT problem. We argued over email back and forth for the whole day, culminating in her screaming in all caps, "You will answer the phones. You will make it your #1 priority. You will be terminated if you fail to answer a single call. Effective tomorrow." And so, tomorrow, I found out just how bad it was. 2016 was when robocalls first started to creep into the wires. And wouldn't you know, we got them. A lot of them. We also got legitimate telemarketers, which were even more annoying as they took more time to deal with. All in all, about 5% of the calls I fielded were from actual customers, and they all just asked for the engineering department anyway. Now here's where my role as IT comes in. IT wait lines were getting long. Salesman A needs his computer looked at. Engineer B's domain password needs to be reset. I stoically explained to everyone that the lead times for their issues would be a little longer than usual, as Miss Texas was forcing me to answer calls. I complied with her order to the letter, and let the IT issues just pile up, not to mention zero progress on my software dev project. When someone brought a computer to me to look at, visibly annoyed that I couldn't just come to their desk like I used to, I'd of course be happy to take a look at their computer, but when the phone rang, I would stop what I was doing and answer. I was swamped, and I hated it. By Friday, I'd had enough, so I put a maliciously compliant plan into action. On Monday, Miss Texas marches into the server room and puts her personal cell phone on my desk. My Wi-Fi won't work anymore. Will you fix it? Me. Well, Miss Texas, I don't know much about iPhones, and technically I shouldn't be working on employees' personal devices. Her face darkens, and as soon as she opens her mouth to tear me a new one, I interrupt her. Me. Of course, our company policy allows me to make an exception for you. She smiles. Me. But I'd have to write up a very detailed ticket for it. For documentation. Miss Texas, is there any way we could, skip the documentation? It's just a Wi-Fi reset. Me. I can, but you'll have to wait until I finish my work with everyone else's issues. MT. And when will that be? Me. Oh, I don't know. There are a lot of people in line in front of you, plus monthly network maintenance / backup recovery audit is this week, and I have to stop everything I'm doing and answer the phone 20 times a day, but I can probably get to it today. I never got to it today, or the next day. Over the week, she kept pestering me about it, complaining about having to use her own mobile data, begging and demanding me to fix it because she had overage charges on her data plan, etc. Every single time, I would bring up how swamped I was with the phone calls and other things, even interrupting her once mid-conversation to answer a call, which left her fuming. Every day, I would find a new excuse. She ended up threatening to fire me a few times, copying Opsman and CEO in emails about my insubordination and how slow IT service was, but every time I would reply all and directly quote the all-caps email she'd sent demanding me to make phone reception my first priority. Finally, on Friday, I told her that maybe, just maybe, if I didn't have to answer the phones, I could find time to work on her iPhone and overlook the fact that she was using company bandwidth instead of her own data plan. I said that last part with a very pointed look, and her expression when she realized I'd known all along why she needed the Wi-Fi was priceless. Within the hour, I had an email asking me to change the call routing to one of the sales staff. Sorry, Tim. Here's what was actually going on. What Miss Texas was doing instead of working or hiring new people, writing employee reviews, or managing office supplies, incoming, outgoing mail, etc., was watching Netflix. Although we had no content filters because CEO is a penny pincher, we do have DNS logs on our firewall. Every day at about 9:30 a.m., there would be regular requests to Netflix content servers' domain names until 11:45, when she'd get fast and it would start up again at 12. After I changed the Wi-Fi password, there was nothing. HR had a camera in the office to make sure nobody commits fraud / steals any files, but her body blocked line of sight to her phone. In the end, Miss Texas was never actually caught or fired. I couldn't blow the whistle because dynamic IPs are tricky to prove. Or so I thought. If I'd known a little more about Windows Server's DHCP role at the time, this would have been r/pro revenge. She instead ended up leaving 5 months later to pursue better opportunities, which basically meant she had a very nasty breakup with Opsman. But at the very least, I forced her to go without her House of Cards binge at work for a week, escaped from the telemarketer reception fiery pit, and held an empty threat of ITCs all over her head until she quit. I was reminded of this because last week I finally got approval to switch our call routing back to an IRV instead of a live answer every time. Our current office admin has never been happier. Note, for those unaware, an IRV is the automated answering service that says, for Department X, press 1. For Y department, press 2, etc. Poor Tim. No, but really, what is wrong with this lady? Look, if you're working, you gotta actually work, alright? You gotta be a benefit to society. You have to help someone. That's why you're being paid. You're not being paid to sit around and watch House of Cards and just be mean to people. Like, this is ridiculous. Short series from a deli counter. Long ago, for the briefest of jobs, I worked in the deli of a supermarket. It was awful. Mostly due to some of the fussiest customers I've ever met and my long-standing intolerance for their drama. I don't have any stories I consider full stories of malicious compliance, but I have a bunch of them. TLDR version, be careful what you ask for. Customer, can I get some turkey? Me, gesturing to the shelves of brands and styles available. Okay, which kind? Customer, turkey. This shouldn't be this difficult. Me, grabbing the brand that costs twice as much as the others. You got it. Customer, can I get that shaved? Me, so a 1mm cut? Customer, shaved. Points to the smallest line on the sizing guide labeled shaved 1mm. Me, after a pause. Okay. Technically, I could have done a 0.5mm cut, but it tends to be messy and the customer had pretty strong Karen vibe. Customer, after getting their meat. What the heck is this? I said I wanted it shaved. Me, pointing to the sizing guide. Shaved. Me, are you sure you want the setting that thin? This is a pretty dry style of meat, and I'm pretty sure the cutter will just end up shredding it to pieces. Customer, just shave it, dude. Me, okay. Me, okay, if you give me 20 minutes, I'll have it ready for you. I've got to clean the cutter after that last guy. Customer, look, I don't have 20 minutes. Just cut me some ham. Me, okay. Customer, what is all this brown stuff? Me, peppered beef. Makes a real mess of the cutter, which is why I usually clean the machine after a customer orders it. Customer, can you clean the cutter for me? It looks pretty dirty. Me, thinking she doesn't know dirty until someone orders a Cajun smoked chicken breast. I literally cleaned it 5 minutes ago. The only customer that thing has seen since being brought online was the gal who just left with her turkey. Customer, looks pretty dirty to me. Me, You know, you're right. I'll start disassembling it now. It will be ready for your order in about 20 minutes. Customer, 25 minutes later. Oh my god, how is it worse? Me, I know, right? Peppered beef. Does it every time. The guy before you in line seemed happy to have the cutter freshly cleaned, though. These are good ones. I'm sorry if this video is going on a little long, but like, I like that last one. It's a little more, you know, low-key. You wanted to finish with something good on the palate. Yeah, if you go to a deli counter, you have to have like a specific meat. You have to have like a specific meat in mind. You can't just be like, turkey, ham. Like, do you know how many types of turkey and ham there are? Goodness. This is great. That's a good malicious compliance. That might be my favorite one so far. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all the good little YouTube stuff. I hope you guys did enjoy it, and if you did, I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye!